And run straight away. That's getting down towards the boundary. That was well timed. I don't think Brearley will get this, but slowing down, but Brearley will not make it. 4 runs to border. And is he caught? Yes, he's out. Caught by Brearley. Well, Brearley took the catch, so a wicket straight away. Border caught Brearley. Bowled Hendrick for 29. Australia 5 for 247. Wood has not added to his overnight score, not out 100. And yes, they're taking a run. Randall straight away. The shot back at the stumps. A brilliant piece of fielding, but they're through for the single. McLean is 1. Wood still exactly 100 not out. Well, runs here, might be a couple, but Randall's extremely fast. It's only 1. Now, any other fieldsman, I'd say yes, 2, but not with Randall. That was brought back to a single immediately. So McLean goes on to 2. 5 for 249. Miller bowling.
Yeah.
And he's caught. Yes, that's the exact position. Great piece of work, that. Wood caught Embury, bowled Miller for exactly 100. He did not add to his overnight score. He's been there for 25 minutes today. Australia 6 for 250. England right back in the game.
Well, I made there's we see the shot, and we sort of predicted that's the reason why Brearley put it there. Look, what's this again? He does not get to the pitch of the ball and middles it pretty well and lofts it at the same time. And Hendrick took a very good catch. We made mention of the fact that it was the most unusual position to field, and the reason he was there in case he wanted to hit against the spin and loft it just a little, but he lofted quite a bit, and the ball went very quickly, and there's a very good catch again.
And he's caught. Yes, he's caught to Randall, straight to him. Hogg caught Randall, Bowl Miller, no score. Australia 7 for 250. Randall taking another catch, and Miller has 3 for 34.
Well, what a captain Brearley is. There's a great gap between point and right to the side screen, the far end of the ground, and he has put Randall in quite an odd position, and he has aptly hit it straight to him. He didn't have to move 1 inch either way. So there you are. He middled it, I must add, and look at it. Randall didn't move. Straight into the big basket of hands he's got.
It's been a remarkable half hour of play. 3 wickets falling for only 7 runs.
Extra polish there from Mike Hendrick.
And bowled him. Another great breakthrough for Mike Hendrick. Dimmock failing to score, and Australia are now 8 for 251.
Well, that looked a pretty good delivery. That extra polish must have really done the trick, because Hendrick managed to make that ball come back into Dimmock, and let's have a look at it again. Dimmock, I think, just leaves the gap open between bat and pad, and he gets the inside edge, so...
Hendrick bowling to Hurst, facing his first ball. Oh, and Uppishley, a no ball called. Extras to 14, 8 for 252. England really fighting back this morning, and a score anything around 250 or not much over certainly isn't dominant for Australia. Bowled him. And so for the second time this morning, 2 wickets go down in 1 over. Hurst out, second ball, bowled by Hendrick, and Australia 9 for 252.
Here's the fall of the wicket again. Hendrick fairly close to the stumps. Outside the off stump, coming in between bat and pad, and it couldn't be any straighter or more conclusive, could it? That ball hit middle stump. McLean at the other end is going to have to take matters into his own hands, and he's going to have to try and force the pace.
Miller to McLean, who drives wide of mid-off. He's taking the first quickly. They might think of a second, but there's no chance of the second run. Higgs facing and off the middle of the bat. Listen to the roar of applause from the Victorian spectators here at the MCG.
Well, they don't see that very often.
Australia 9 for 253. McLean on 4. This time he goes for the hit, and he beats the fieldsman at mid-off. It's a good shot. It mightn't go all the way. Embury just reaching the ball inside the boundary, and McLean coming back for the third run. Well, the crowd booing the English fieldsman for stopping it being 4, but it's exactly what McLean wanted. McLean not ready as he surveys the field. Bowled, and Australia all out, and Ian Botham takes his third wicket, so all the wicket takers take 3 each. McLean out, bowled by Botham for 8. Higgs remains not out 1, and Australia all out for 258, meaning that on the second morning the Australians lost their last 6 wickets for the addition of only 15 runs.
Well, you've seen it. I don't believe it. Just what did happen to Australia in that innings? Can England do better? Let's have a look now.
And the ground just looking a shade browner than it was yesterday. We may see perhaps a few more balls reach the boundary than did yesterday.
I think it's had a good cut this morning. It's also, to me anyway, appears to be heavily rolled, and that's a good sign. We've got to get the ball moving over the grass, and that's a fair indication of the breeze. It wouldn't be as much as that down in the middle, though.
So it's Hurst to Brearley. And Brearley's off the mark immediately. Just the single as Darling comes across quickly from the cover to field. Hurst to Boycott. And that almost took Graham Yallop with it. Didn't have a great deal of pace on it, but had to scurry out of the road. So Boycott's now off the mark as well.
See Yallop in very close here. Boycott pushing forward to this one, and it bounced very high off that hard wicket.
Hogg again to move in to bowl to Boycott. Oh,
and that was what they wanted. Well up. Look at the Australians there. Totally delighted.
Magnificent Yorker. The first one that Hogg has pitched up to Boycott, and it rattled through his defences and shattered the stumps. What a superb blow for
and that has made the day for the Australian crowd. They couldn't be happy with the dismissal of Jeff Boycott, and I imagine the Australian players would feel exactly the same, because no matter what we say about Jeff Boycott, he is still the man the Australians like to get out the most, because he's a man who can, in fact, win the match for his own team.
No, there's no question. It was absolutely to the delight of the outer. Let's have a look at it now. Boycott back.
Shuffling across, going through the gap. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Still hasn't gone past the crease, even though that ball was well up.
There he goes through his physical jerks. He had a pretty poor summer in England in 1977. Didn't score a century in the summer of 78, but finds himself on this tour, and now with the pressure on as Hogg rattles in. Off the mark immediately. Down to fine leg. Hurst moves in. And it's just the single, flat throw. Hogg again to Brearley. And that's close, and umpire O'Connell has given it. So that's Brearley out, LBW. And England right behind the 8 ball now. 2 down for 3, and still another 16 minutes to negotiate before the luncheon interval.
Here's the replay. You'll see him just shuffling across, ball cutting back, hitting on the front pad, I think, there, but that was only on the popping crease. And look at the Australians going up, and the final figure. Let's have a look now from a different angle. You'll see Brearley shuffling across. That's hit him on the knee, and that looks pretty close.
Gooch forward, and almost a repeat of Randall's stroke. The batsman trot through for a single. That gets Gooch off the mark, and the total along to 5. Gooch forward, they'll get a single if not 2 here, as there's a bit of a chase for Darling. Randall thinks about 2, but oh, look at that return. Beautiful bit of fielding there from the South Australian.
And that may have been a catch by the reaction. A catch, I'd say, Higgs. The reaction of the fieldsmen, they almost turned themselves in somersaults over that.
Well, yes or no, we won't know, will we?
Darling. A good chase here. Beautifully timed by Randall, that one. That may reach the fence to that long boundary. Yes, that's a good 4. Very long boundary out there. Appeal for leg before and not out. Fine looking drive. Yes, that's a beautiful shot from Gooch. I don't think Darling will get that.
Dimmock's first ball to Randall, who goes for the hook, but perhaps got it off the gloves. It rolled out fairly slowly. They have one coming back for 2, fielded by Higgs, who throws to the bowler's end. And 2 more to Randall. He's to double figures. He's 10, Gooch 20, 2 for 34. And it beats the gully field. A chase for Toohey. The batsmen have 1. Coming back for the second, Randall. Toohey's throw. Randall set off when the ball was in Toohey's hand then. Edge and didn't carry. Shot by Gooch wide of mid-on. Oh, Wood fields brilliantly and cuts the scoring to a single. Played it away from his body, through the gap, but not a lot of power on it. And Toohey fielding from mid-off. On the pad, and he's out. Given out, LBW. Look at Randall looking to see where he is in relation to the stumps. He doesn't like the decision, but Randall out, LBW bowled Hurst for 13, and England 3 for 40.
He seemed to think he was well forward. Shuffles across his crease, goes forward, and he has hit on the pad, certainly in front of middle and off stump. The question was whether he was too far forward or not.
Hurst to Gower.
And they'll have to stop play because the foreign body is on the field.
Appeal from both wicketkeeper and bowler, but umpire French not moved.
I think this may have been a little high. Yes, going over the top of the stumps.
And a very lazy shot there from Gower. Hurst threw the ball wide outside the off stump, and Gower went with the head up in the air to drive it through the offside, but fortunately for him, it took the gap between gully and third slip down to the boundary for 4.
We'll see it here now. Let's have a look. This one got up a bit higher, very quickly off the edge. Alan Board at one grab, and look at that left hand folded into his chest, and I would think about the 4th time he's managed to grab it.
Oh, and that was not a great shot, although it's thundering out towards that long, long boundary, and in fact is 4 runs. Gower gives himself room and punches that one powerfully square of the wicket. It's a chase now. Darling, he'll reach it just inside the fence. They're coming back for 3. A long, long throw. What a beautiful throw there from the outfield. Tremendous throw. Appears to be a rough patch developing just outside the left-hander's off stump there that Higgs is obviously going to work on. Sweep off the leg stump. That's going out behind square leg. That'll beat Border at backward square leg. Sweetly timed by Gower. 4 takes him into the 20s. 22 and the total on 66 for 4. Higgs, plenty of air and beautifully driven by Gower. Picks the gap between Yallop at mid-off and Wood at extra cover. And I don't think Yallop will reach that. Into the fence now for a beautiful cover drive. Faster and shorter. It's pulled out backward of square leg, and Border runs around from forward square leg again.
Got a good arm, Border.
It's a beautiful throw. Appeal. O'Connell in the negative. Magnificent throw from Alan Border, deep out on that square leg boundary. Gower's a pretty swift man, but he had to struggle and put out the extension to get home.
Yes, he had him under. I think he had him covered. If you'll notice, Gower here, and Border's got one of the best arms in the side. He's a top baseballer. We're not going to see it, I don't think, but Gower was only really ambling through, but now he sees the danger and he starts to hurry, but he did have to, but he's in there. Look,
well said. Yes.
And out it goes towards the third man boundary. There's no one there. Darling's chasing it. I doubt if he'll get to it. The ball's slowing down, and it's into the fence for 4. I noticed there that Hogg's taken his white hat off. I don't know if that's a sign that he'll bowl fairly soon, because it's Dimmock again from the far end. And Hogg was successful in bowling from that far end. The breeze is a southwester, so it's favouring the bowler at the present time.
Oh.
An appeal for leg before. He's out. He was right in front. There was no doubt about that one. Gower, leg before to Dimmock for 29. England 5 for 81. And Dimmock 2 for 17. That looked absolutely plumb.
Watch how high it hits him on the pad. It's what's it called, a Melbourne cricket ground creeper. Look at that, very low. It's only hitting half stump high, and we mentioned that the pitch is playing rather funny little tricks at this particular end. That is the members' end, and there we saw it, and good for Dimmock. There we go again. Now watch how low it skids. Yep.
And almost played on. How did that miss the stumps?
Well, now you've got 2 right-handers in, and Dimmock's had a fair stint. It might be the time to bring Rodney Hogg back. Much faster man than Dimmock, and he's bowling over the wicket. Got a much better chance of getting leg before and bowled, because he's coming in from that way, and as I pointed out, just a couple of shooters and one that popped, which has happened here. He may be a better value.
And beaten, completely beaten outside the off stump.
That was close, very close to the outside edge of the bat. Very close. It slants it right away, and very close indeed. And there's 1, 2, 3 slips under gully.
Here's the other view. He missed it, but not that far away. And off an edge, there's a run. Yes, it's the first run to Miller, and the first run we've seen in the space of 5 overs. The breeze from the southwest, which means that Higgs is bowling into it. And a chance dropped. Now, Keith, you said the slip fieldsman was standing too wide. That was a drop chance by Kim Hughes.
Had he been feeling finer, he did well really to get to it, but he's very wide there, and it went to his left hand, as you can see, and I mentioned earlier, he's much too wide, I thought.
Not a bad position for a captain to be in here out there on the field when you've got Dimmock and Higgs bowling so well, and you've got Hogg up your sleeve.
Yes, I'm afraid Hogg will have to be brought into attack very soon. Must be raring to go, knowing the wickets are playing a bit dodgy.
And slash through the covers. Beautiful shot, that one. No need to run. He got that right in the middle of the bat.
Dimmock 2 for 25. Both of them in the air, and it's safe down the ground. A couple of bounces, it's pulling up, and it won't be 4. It's just one of those sporting occasions you really had to see it to believe it, when Hogg dismissed Boycott and Brearley in his second over. And the noise that went up from this MCG crowd when Boycott was out was just deafening. Both them hooks again. That's high and wide of Hurst, and second bounce into the fence.
Well, that was a good shot. There's the stroke again.
Well, Botham pulls, and Yallop takes the pace off it with his face, actually, at mid-wicket. The throw to the bowler's end hits the stumps, and Botham has through for his single, and Yallop, the Australian captain, is down at mid-wicket.
And that's hit him in the jaw. just feeling it tenderly.
Playing a stroke outside the line of the off stump.
Yes, probably so, but the ball would have gone straight on. That's what the flipper does.
Both of them in the air. Is it a catch? Darling, a great catch on the covers. Magnificent catch by Rick Darling, and Botham is out for 22.
Botham unable to restrain himself. Slashes, hits with the outside edge of the bat, the middle of the outside edge, and Darling there coming in, taking it with the right hand.
Miller is 6 for 100. And Yallop really pushing the field up. And this is the most attacking that we've seen Yallop for the bowling of Higgs. Look at the vultures around. Taylor, not of course renowned for playing a lot of shots, facing his first ball from Higgs. What a game of uncertainty it is. Higgs giving it a bit of flight, and Taylor gets off the mark with that drive to the covers. Taylor won, so he took, what, 2 balls, and Miller is 1. He's been there about 40 minutes.
Of course, this England side are never out until they're all out. Most of them can handle a bat. And Taylor here is no exception. He's scored some valuable 30s and 40s in test matches.
Hogg to Taylor. Bowled him! Rodney Hogg 3 for 23. Taylor bowled for 1.
Oh, he goes onto the back foot, and that ball coming back from outside the off stump, keeping low, hit the middle stump, with Taylor in fact playing slightly across it. Look at it again. Notice the bounce. Do you see the bounce there? It was just about shin high.
Five men in catching positions, 2 slips, a gully, short forward square leg, and silly mid off. It's about as far as Embry's hitting them so far. Bowled him! Knocked out the middle stump, and Hogg has 4 for 23. Embry out for no score. England 8 for 101.
Well, that was a comprehensive dismissal. I got the impression the ball kept low again. Embry on the front foot, but he left a gap between bat and pad. And that ball bowled wide on the return crease, angled in, found that gap, and took that middle stump like a rotten tooth out of its socket. Let's just look at that gap left by Embry. There you see the ball passing through, clean as a whistle.
Goes for the big hit this time and picks the gap and gets a single, which is his... Oh, it goes through border, and they'll come back for the second. And that's the first scoring shot for Jeff Miller in about 4 minutes, less than an hour.
Higgs just pitching slightly too full there. And the half volley gave Miller the opportunity to execute that fairly solid drive.
Yes, you can really see that there, with Willis playing right outside his pad, and
He's closer now at that short leg position. He's now actually in a short leg rather than a short mid-on.
Yes, I'd be carries, I think, to get down the little leg slip there.
And the angled bat away behind point. Darling has a shot at the stumps, hits them on the full, but Miller had made good his ground quite easily, in fact. And Hogg to Willis. Edge, but short of McLean.
Just short, and you can't blame the fieldsmen today, because they're in about the right position. Now let's have a look at it. There's the edge, but that was well short. McLean's done well to get across to try and get to it.
Oh, and that is short, and it's hit Willis. Willis not particularly impressed, I don't think. We'll see whether umpire O'Connell moves towards Hogg. I think not. That's the end of the second day's play. with England on 8 for 107. Willis not out 3. Miller not out 3. Higgs, final figures, 16 overs, 8 maidens, 1 for 23. The short bowling figures of the other.